Hello, I'm Yoli Medina. I'm a civil attorney, not a criminal defense attorney, and not a prosecutor. So keep that in mind. So, what I wanted to talk about today was a gag order because I see so many people on YouTube speculating about different things on this Bryan Kohberger case. And, I'm wondering, really, there needs to be transparency. And I understand that there are some things that need to be confidential, and we won't know why they're confidential, but it seems a bit extreme in this case. And the reason why I say that is I think the new judge, Judge Hippler, realizes that because he allowed the public to request sealed records. And there's a lot of people who say, well, that's only for certain people, it's going to get denied, this, that, and the other. But actually, I think what he's doing is he's allowing the public to request records to see what the public wants, and then to take a look at it de novo, meaning anew, and to look at it in terms of, should the public have this? And I know that some creators have asked for materials pursuant to the judge's instructions, and it's been denied. But I also know of some people who have requested materials and it's pending. In other words, it's pending review by the judge. So I think the judge is taking a look at this, and there's a reason why he put out what he put out in terms of the method in which to request sealed records, because everybody has a right to know what's going on in the courts and whether or not taxpayers' money are being put to good use. And so what I think is happening is, I think this judge, he's a very good judge in my opinion, and I think based on these hearings on the death penalty, he showed that he's on it. And the arguments were made, and they had to be made on behalf of Bryan Kohberger because it's a death penalty case and these motions have to come forward, and it's just kind of boring. They probably know they're going to lose, but they got to do everything they can to protect their client, because further along these motions might be important. Things might change, and it seems a bit premature to have these death penalty motions, but that's another story. What I'm focusing on is on the gag order, and I think this judge things are going to be handled differently. It already shows that he's more decisive, and I don't want to say anything bad about John Judge, or whatever his name is, Judge. He's a small town judge, and he, it was probably overwhelming for him. He wrote in his decision when it came to change venue that venue need to be changed for a number of reasons, not just because of prejudice. But in any event, the gag order is causing people to speculate, and transparency is always the way to go, I think. And at this point, I think at some point this judge is probably going to lift the gag order as to certain things. I don't know. Maybe he won't. But I feel like that's what's causing all these issues with people. People are speculating like the family may have had something to do with it, or the family of the victim, and they're speculating that maybe other people who are deceased already, may have had something to do with it. And so when there's a gag order and there's information out there that shows you that, well, maybe there's not enough, what they're showing you doesn't rise to the level of beyond a reasonable doubt, and you're speculating about what is sealed and whether there is enough. The law enforcement and the prosecution are basically saying, trust us. What's under seal is enough. And so are we to trust them? Well, some people might. Other people might have had a bad experience with law enforcement. They may not trust. They have distrust. Is that their right? Of course it is. People have a right to have their own opinions. So it's just a matter of whether this gag order is doing more harm than good. And I think it's doing more harm. I think transparency is the way to go. And I think this judge kind of realizes that, because otherwise, why would he allow the public to request records? Because it's not limited to certain people. It's if you want to request sealed records, here you go. Request them, and he's going to look at it. Now, I don't know. I mean, I can't remember a time when there was a gag order. I just know back in the day before social media, people would speculate. And I remember sitting in the backyard with my mom speculating on the O.J. Simpson case before it went to trial and when it was at trial. And I remember talking about the Menendez brothers when that was televised, because the O.J. Simpson and the Menendez brothers were the first some televised criminal trials. And we would talk and speculate about all kinds of things. And now it's like if you speculate, you're talking with people online, you're chatting, people are on panel, and they say, crazy speculations. And the reason is because there's no transparency. And there has to be some transparency. I mean, at least let some of it come out. Some of it. I mean, there might, and we may find out that there was a very good reason to keep all of it sealed, and that's true. But that's also speculating. I don't know. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think.